Welcome to Talk Law Radio with attorney Todd Marquardt of the Marquardt Law Firm at marquardtlawfirm.com.
Welcome to Talk Law Radio. I'm Todd Marquardt. On the radio, on podcasts everywhere, on Facebook Live, and on YouTube. Also, check out talklawradio.com. You can search for previous episodes. Just search for the area of law that's causing you some trouble or that you're interested in. Today's going to be a great show. We're going to be talking with philanthropist Mark Wittig and our Financial Focus sponsor, Joseph Warren. So my first question to you is, does it make a difference? Do I make a difference? Can you make a difference? We'll be discussing that question throughout our show today. The hidden legal blind spot today is what are the laws that govern the homeless? And I know that not everybody appreciates that term, calling people that live on the street homeless. But I don't know what the polite way of discussing the subject is without getting weird. And saying unhoused people or people without houses. We'll talk about that as well. Give me some feedback. What terminology should I be using? Email me at host@talklawradio.com. Post a comment on Facebook or on YouTube. But first, we're going to be talking with Joseph Warren. He's an advisor with Financial Planning HQ, and he and his family sponsor the Financial Focus segment of Talk Law Radio. We talked about what a fiduciary is. We talked about some tax planning ideas, year-end tax planning. Today we're going to be talking about charitable planning, charitable financial planning.
Yep.
Welcome to the show, Joseph.
I'm really happy to be here again.
Yeah, we love having you on because you teach us things. We appreciate that.
Love to teach. Yep.
So charitable giving is something that a lot of people have the heart for, but what role does charitable giving have in financial planning?
Yeah, last week we were talking about year-end tax planning, and a lot of that is helping you to save money so it goes to your family instead of the IRS. And another thing we like to do is have people send their money to charity instead of the IRS as well, just because we believe they're slightly better stewards of that money. And it's actually been shown that when you choose to give of your own volition versus then being compelled, you actually get a boost in well-being and happiness. They've done studies on that. So there's some things the government does that is good, right? But some things that could be considered wasteful. So it's good to think about those causes that are near and dear to your heart and to give. A lot of the strategies I'm going to talk about today are good for people who are already giving. But even if you're not, I would encourage everyone to give because it's good for you. It's good for the charities that you give to. And you get a nice little tax incentive as well for giving to charities.
I think it's good for teaching the children as well.
Yeah.
So I ask them, if I give you $50, what charity would you like to give it to?
Yeah.
Around the holidays.
Yeah. Yeah. The kids are watching as well. So they may not always listen to what you say, but they're always watching what you do. So it's a way of building a legacy, a very powerful way. And sometimes giving can even extend, beyond one's lifetime to like a multi-generational thing. So,
right. Tell us about how we have choices with our money.
Yeah. So there actually are studies that have done that. They looked at people's budgets and they showed that even a small amount of giving increases happiness or self-reported happiness, well-being. So it's really good for you to give, but I would say, just an example with one of our clients, we had a client who was already giving to their church, which is very common. He was giving about $12,000 per year to his church that he was a part of, and we were looking at that, and we like to challenge our subject matter experts. So we asked our tax person, "What do you think, or what's an idea that you have that could save him on his taxes?" And I kind of alluded to this last time. It was a similar type of idea. But he said, just send that $12,000 directly to the church from your IRA. And that makes it so that instead of having to pay the taxes on it for a required minimum distribution, because this person was, 73, 75. He was having to do those required minimum distributions. It'll be completely tax-free. Church gets their money. They're happy. He was going to give to the charity anyway or to his church.
Right.
And he got that tax break for doing that. So that was one example.
And so what are some of the ways, did you already mention this comes from his IRA?
Yeah, this comes from his IRA directly. And normally when you take that money out, it's taxable. We talked about this last week. The government mandates you to take that money out with penalties of 25% because they want to tax it. It's not,
right.
It's almost like a business. They want to get the money from you that they need to run the government and do stuff like that. But we basically sent it directly to his charity or to his church, and it made it so he got the tax deduction, didn't have to pay any taxes on that, and the church got the money. So it's basically a win-win from an accounting standpoint. He did what he was going to do anyway, but he still got a tax break for $12,000, saving about $3,000 per year.
What are some other charitable giving techniques that help to save some taxes?
Yeah, there's a few strategies. It depends how complicated you want to get with it, but just cash giving. If you give cash, up to 60% of your adjusted gross income can be deducted. So that's the limit that they put there for giving cash.
If you're itemizing.
Yeah, and that's if you're itemizing. So that's usually higher income people with high medical bills, property taxes, things like that. But you can plan to itemize a certain year and just kind of bunch all your deductions in one year.
Oh, okay.
That's a strategy that some people do. You can give highly appreciated stock or digital assets. Sometimes people have, Bitcoin, things like that are highly appreciated. And if you do that, you won't have to take the long-term capital gain. And you can deduct up to 30% of your AGI doing that.
Can somebody give land?
I believe you can give land, yes. You can definitely give land. I know people give their cars. You can give, property. And there's even donor advised funds. That's another strategy that people do where you put your money in there and you can decide later where you want it to go. So I know one I use with my clients sometimes is Fidelity Charitable, I believe it's called. And you can fund that account with stocks, different things. You can have a say-so in how it's managed. And you can decide, I want it to go to Mark Wittig's charity, to the, the housing for the homeless, different things. Town Twin Village, or wherever you want it to go. So that's another thing is donor advised funds give you that flexibility to decide later where you want the money to go.
And that's another way to involve the family, I think, is you can all discuss among yourselves what charities do we want to give to this year.
Yep. And it's a great family practice talking about legacy. Like every dollar that comes into your life is a choice, right? You can spend it, you can, rack up debt, you can do all these different things, but I can't think of anything better than giving to charity and showing your family that as well.
I'm glad you said that. It made me realize, that I do have a choice. I think that most people get all wrapped up in work and paying their bills and coming home and taking the kids to soccer practice and then having dinner and going to bed and doing it all over the next day. But I like the idea that I have a choice, and I hope that people really do have a choice. Hopefully their bills don't totally overwhelm their budget every month.
Even if it does, I've been there. So even if it does, just volunteering, I used to volunteer with Soldiers Angels. It's a group in town, veterans group. That was something that was near and dear to me. But you meet the most interesting people. There's just something about people who are out there giving their time, giving their money. You just meet people who are doing cool things. It's really a great experience, very rewarding. So even if you can't give money, I think it's good to give your time to a cause that you care about.
Right. And so can you use your financial roadmap to help somebody with their goal of being a philanthropist or giving to charity?
Yes. So the first step there is we often ask people questions. We call it the values conversation. And it follows Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So people will start off with kind of like the lower part of the pyramid. I don't know if y'all are familiar with that.
Yeah.
Which is like security. I want to be able to pay my bills. I want to never be broke again. But then as people go, it's like, it goes towards their faith. It gets towards higher levels. I want to be closer to God. I want to fulfill my purpose as a Christian. I want to make the world a better place.
Right.
And we've had clients who've said that, and it really is something they're aspiring to do. So if people are already giving, we encourage them to give, but if they're already giving, we just create a strategy around that so they'll save as much in taxes as possible.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, and so how do people develop the ideas of who to give to?
I think it really starts with, I guess I would call it soul searching, but thinking about your past and what you've been through and things that helped you out. So I know for myself, like I went to college in Kerrville and they recently had a horrible, flood. They had a horrible situation there. Like it was a no-brainer to me when I saw that. I'm like, okay, how much money do I have to give? And just making it a habit, I think like the tithe for that reason, that 10%. That's good too, because that teaches people how to invest, like take at least 10% of your money and invest it as well. But having some money just set aside for that, and then when the opportunity arises, just having a budget for it and just giving.
Do you have any resources for our listeners this week?
I do. Every week I'm going to have resources. Spoiler alert. But this week I have a 1-page guide to charitable giving and how to make sure you get the most tax benefit for doing so. And for anyone who gives me a call at 210-444-2128, I'll send that to you free of charge. I'll just email it your way. And for the first 3 people who do that, I'm also going to send a book that will massively increase your chances of achieving all your financial goals.
210-444-2128.
Yep, that's correct.
Okay, we always say it a couple of times because somebody might be driving or, working in their garage or walking the dog. So you have to help them remember that.
Oh, for sure.
So this is Joseph Warren with our financial focus. Him and his family do financial planning for successful people who want what?
Who want to achieve all their financial goals, no matter what happens in the world, the economy, the stock market, who want to make sure that they have the impact on the world that they want to have.
Thank you for the financial focus. Next segment, we're going to be talking with Mark Wittig about the Town Twin Village, housing first, homeless issues. So stay tuned. And also tune in to Talk Law Radio on Sundays in the afternoon. Yes, we have another show. Sundays in the afternoon on 9:30 a.m. The Answer, also podcasts everywhere. Leave us a comment, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to YouTube. We'll be right back.
This has been Talk Law Radio with attorney Todd Marquardt, brought to you by the Marquardt Law Firm. You can learn more at marquardtlawfirm.com. And be sure to listen to the full Talk Law Radio show Saturday mornings at 11 on 9:30 a.m. The Answer.
Most families don't realize they have hidden legal blind spots until it's too late. Wills, trusts, Medicaid planning, even protecting a business. These are the kinds of issues attorney Todd Marquardt helps uncover before they become problems. Todd is the host of Talk Law Radio, where each week he guides listeners through the legal challenges families, veterans, and business owners face, while showing them the practical steps to protect what matters most. Catch Talk Law Radio, Saturdays at 11 a.m. on 9:30 a.m. The Answer, 6:30 a.m. The Word, and now in Houston on AM 1070 and 103.3 FM The Answer, or anytime on YouTube. Planning isn't just about documents. It's about peace of mind, security for loved ones, and building a legacy that lasts. Don't wait for a crisis. Do it before you die.